We are live for episode 141 of the Wise Guys podcast. I am your host, Brandon Capozziello, and back with me again is Mr. Romaine Davis, FLB. And we are here to bring you another episode of talking a little basketball, a little NBA talk. We're going to get into, is James Harden the problem or is he the solution? We're going to talk about it after a slow start. Yeah, if after a slow start of the Los Angeles Clippers, we're going to discuss, are the Timberwolves the real deal this year? And do they have to get rid of Karl Anthony Towns? We're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss who the rookie of the year is right now at this current point in time. And finally, we're going to discuss, will any player this year take that leap into superstar status? We're going to talk all of that. But before we get into all that, please, if you are watching this video now, give us a like, thumbs up, subscribe if you are new, and share the content with everybody and anybody. It really helps. We really appreciate it. We love you. Love you very, very much if you do that. Thank you. Thank you. Big kiss. Mwah. Okay? And go follow us and all that stuff on social media, blah blah blah. You know, Brandon Capozziello stuff, Romaine stuff, FLB, all that shit is in the description. Click the links, click it up, follow, subscribe, like, comment along with us and tell us your discussion. But now I've been rambling on too far. Romaine, how are you doing this fine Tuesday night? Almost fucked that up. November 14th, 2023.
I'm in a good mood. Video's doing well. My Heat's on a 5-game streak. The NBA is nice for me right now. All my agendas that I was pushing the offseason are all thriving. All of my ops, except for Boston, all of my ops are down bad right now. They're the only one that's living in the sun right now, and that won't be for too much longer. So
you used a word.
I'm doing well.
You used a word that I'm not a fan of, which is agenda. That's a new age word. I'm just not a fan of the word agenda. But
I got agendas to push.
I got no agendas. I just come on here and I tell you how I feel at that current moment in time, and I tell you the facts. But let's get into the real facts. The Los Angeles Clippers, after trading for James Harden, I believe that 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks ago, trading for James Harden and PJ Tucker. We should not forget to mention PJ Tucker. And they traded away Nicholas Batum, Robert Covington, Marcus Morris Sr., Kenyon Martin Jr., and a bunch of picks and pick swaps. The Clippers they own 4 now or 5? Own 4 now.
4. Recently losing to the 1-8 before then Memphis Grizzlies.
That was a bad one, wasn't it? That was a bad one.
Yeah, that's your team, my
guy.
Those are your guys.
Not my, that's not my team.
Those are your guys.
I'm a Kawhi guy.
You got Kawhi's averaging. Your guy Kawhi's averaging 18 on like 44% shooting over those 4 games.
All right, well, he's being stifled right now. He's being stifled right
now. He's being stifled. Top 5,
yep.
The top 5 on top 5, top 6 on the planet. One of the best players in the league, always shows up in the playoffs. Oh, he's up there with LeBron and KD at his peak. He's getting stifled.
Yeah, he's being stifled
by his own teammate, here, bro.
By his own teammate. I might add.
Kawhi is the only guy I see. Kawhi is the only guy I see that's ever in those top, even in the top 10 combos, because people do this with Jimmy too, where people prop him up to crazy levels, and then whenever he's crashing and burning, you do not hold him to the same level you hold to anybody. If LeBron James, Kevin Durant, the Miami Heat, Boston Celtics, any one of those teams, if they traded for anybody like James Harden in the first 4, it's 0-4. They're not blaming the team, or they're not blaming the coach. They're not blaming the new player. The first player they're blaming is one of them. Kawhi's the only guy I see just skates away. No blame. Not your fault. Oh, you're getting stifled.
Well, if we're dealing in facts, Romaine, like I said, which we are, the facts are James Harden came in. James Harden has stifled everybody's progress and everything like that going forward, because I told you it doesn't mix when you got 4 ball dominant guys and 2 of them are especially super ball dominant, it's going to be very difficult to work if at all it's going to work. And I'm very disappointed.
I know there's the highlights going around and like the air ball or the turnovers and stuff. Offense hasn't been the problem.
Yeah, what's the problem? Defense.
Rebounds. They don't have a big. They need to bench one of James or Russ.
They got a big. They got Zubac.
Zubac is trash.
He's not trash.
He is trash. What they need from him, he cannot provide. He cannot rim protect. He cannot rebound efficiently. And he damn sure isn't finishing well right now. He's not doing anything for them. He's just clogging the paint. That's really it. And then Ty Lue is such a small ball coach. He's happy to not play him. He's happy to put Kawhi at the 4. He's happy to play PJ Tucker at the damn freaking 5. And then watch them get rebounded all freaking game. Watch them get babied. And watch everybody just go directly to the rim and finish over 6'5" PJ Tucker or 6'7" Kawhi. They're happy to see that. He's happy to see that happen because he doesn't want to play a big man, and they don't even have one to play.
Well, they do have one to play. His name is Zubac, and he's actually averaging a career high in blocks right now at 1.7. I just looked that up.
Wallahi.
He's averaging 8 boards. That's a low from the last 2 years. That's not good enough. I expect that to be bigger. It's been, how many games are we in? Like fucking 10, 15 games in the NBA season, whatever the case may be. Listen, let me explain something to you, all right? James Harden's addition, I got to explain this to you, and I got to explain this to everybody because I've been explaining this. James Harden's addition, like I said from the beginning, was going to be a massive failure going forward because, like I said, James Harden plays a certain brand of basketball, and that certain brand of basketball is I'm going to stand at the top of the key, I'm going to dribble, and then I'm going to make a decision with like 5 seconds left. Either I'm going to just dump it off to my center, I'm going to try to draw a foul or something, jack up a 3-pointer, I'm going to kick it to somebody with 3 seconds left, and you figure out what the hell you're going to do with it, right? That doesn't work when you have a Russell Westbrook, who's a god-awful 3-point shooter, Kawhi Leonard, who he's improved him shooting very, very well. I mean, like Kawhi Leonard is a very, very good, borderline great shooter all the way around. I mean, we know he's elite in the mid-range game. He's not really a catch and shoot guy. I mean, he can, but he's not. That's not where he's going to excel in what you want him to do. And Paul George is kind of similar like that. These guys, they can catch and shoot. They can do it at a pretty damn good clip, but that's not what they're going to excel at. And that's not what James excels at either. Like, he can catch and shoot. He can't, like, these guys can do those things, excluding Russell Westbrook. He can't really do that, except for a couple occasional nights. But they can do that, but that's not what they excel at. That's what I'm talking about. You're trying to take a square, a triangle, a circle, a rectangle, and you're trying to stuff them all into like a octagon or a freaking tiny little pinhole type thing, and they're not working. These blocks are not working. These shapes are not being rearranged right because they don't fit right. So that's the offensive end, right? On the defensive end, that's very, very easy to discuss. Defense and rebounding, like you stated. That's very easy to discuss. They got rid of 3 guys that weren't big men, but in this small ball era are considered big men at the 4, I should say, right? They got rid of those 3 guys who can provide defense, veteran nature, veteran presence, and can shoot the 3. You bring in a James Harden. I like PJ Tucker, right? But PJ Tucker's not getting really any burn. He's been like kind of like their 6th man, and you know, you bring him in, then we're really running a small ball lineup where Kawhi Leonard is your tallest guy at 6'7". So on the defensive end and rebounding, you bring a James Harden in, and we're seeing clips go around. We know what James Harden and Russell Westbrook are on the defensive end a lot. I like Russ's effort in the playoffs on the defensive end. I'm not going to question. That's where I'm perfectly fine with him. In the regular season, I get it. They're going to get lackadaisical, but James has always been this way, and Russ has always been this way too, to a point. They lose their man. I don't know if you've seen the clip. I don't know if you've seen everything. They lose their men multiple times. DiVincenzo was seen just sprint into the basket, 3-point line. James Harden forgets who the hell he's guarding, and the guy gets straight to the basket and gets an offensive rebound. That has been a consistent point of error for Westbrook and James Harden on the defensive end, giving up offensive boards because they get lackadaisical, they forget who their man is, or they just don't care. There's no effort. There's zero effort. We know that with James Harden too. That is inexcusable. That not inexcusable. That is just a fact about James Harden. He gives you zero effort on the defensive end. Zero. And
that
like I've
been the case. That has been the case the past 3 years, actually.
For James Harden?
He's been a league average defender for the past couple of years.
He still gives you zero effort. Like I'm not a blind person. I'm not somebody who's delusional when I turn on a Brooklyn Nets game or a Philadelphia 76er game in the last 3 years where I see James Harden multiple times, not once or twice, multiple times give you absolutely zero effort on the defensive end. And that, my friend, is demoralizing as a teammate. You play basketball. You play probably currently, right? We've all played basketball either whether it be organized or just on the street. If you are playing basketball and your teammate, you look over and is consistently giving you zero effort on the defensive end, leaving you out to dry, and me too. I don't play organized basketball. I play street basketball, right? I'm not a great athlete. You can look at me. I'm not a great athlete. I'm not that great offensively, but what I will give you is 100% effort on defense. So if I look over and I see my teammate is giving me fuck all on the defensive end, that shit's going to irritate me a lot. Really, really, really will. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not a blind person. I know I've seen James Harden multiple times over the past decade on multiple occasions give you nothing defensively. No effort. And that is the problem right there. Zubac is fine as you guys, everybody wants to call him trash. I think he's an average center in this league. I think he's good. I think he's a solid player. That's all I think. 7-footer, 240 plus, 250, big body, right? Which is really all they kind of need. It's just now they've added James Harden, which now exemplifies a lot of things that they don't have, which is defense, turnover problem. I wonder why they got a turnover problem when they've added two guys who are literally 1 and 2 over the last, I think, decade in turnovers. And they got a defensive problem. Who would have guessed it? I mean, you traded away 3 3-and-D guys. Who would have guessed it? I don't know.
That's one thing I don't think they should have. If they're gonna, this trade should have maybe if you're gonna include 2 of them, I'll probably kept either Rocco or Nicholas Batum, and put Bones Highland or Terrence Mann in that place specifically. Yes.
Bones Highland.
That would have been especially since they have Russ and James Harden supposed to be a playmakers. You don't need a guard off the bench like that now. So yes, Bones Highland probably should have been the one involved in the trade. But at the end of the day, James is not the core problem here. It really isn't. The core problem here is the simple fact that their coach, one, for this team to work, always either Russ or James is gonna have to go to the bench. That's how it's gonna have to work.
That's a factual statement.
There's no way you can play all 4 of them and then Ivanka Zubac behind them because he's not a good enough rim protector. And say what you want about Kawhi and PG, or how great defenders they are, they've not lived up to those. They've not lived up to those.
Yeah, they're not going to give you that, especially this early.
Exactly.
They're not
so it's not like you have the point of attack defense that you think you do with the names you have. So guys are consistently getting to the rim. You're gonna need to have a deterrence there. Zubac is not that. So you're going to have PJ Tucker in here and one of them coming off the bench. PJ Tucker is a good enough point of attack, even at his age. Yes. Good enough point of attack defender.
He's an effort guy. He's gonna hustle you.
Exactly. Exactly. You need him in here. Also, still a better rebounder than Kawhi and Paul George, even at 6'5". So
simply just because of effort and hustle. That's it.
Exactly.
That's what he's made his name on.
But again, that problem is not James. And it makes sense that Russ is supposed to be the one to go to the bench, but Russ has been playing well, and he's come here for a bigger role. And you got him, you re-signed him for a bigger role. So for you to have him playing well and still be moved to the bench is kind of a fuck you to Russ. But at the same time, James would fit better in the starting lineup, and Russ would fit better coming off the bench with this second unit. That's just how it has to be. I'm sorry. Russ is just going to have to accept that. And then on the offensive end, the reason why it's ugly is not because of James's style of play. James has actually been isoing the least I've ever seen him in his career. And he's been off ball the most I've seen him in his career right now. The simple problem is the fact that they cannot defend. They're not getting stops, so they're always playing in the freaking half court. They're last in transition buckets in the NBA. So they're last in transition and fast break buckets in the NBA. They're always playing in the half court, and no matter who the hell you are, Maybe the Denver Nuggets can get away with it. You're not going to survive playing in this league, strictly playing on the half court. You're going to have to get some easy buckets here and there.
Yeah, you need stops and turnovers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you're playing all four of them at the same time. That lineup specifically just does not work.
Yeah.
And you're just asking too many people to do too many different things right now. And James specifically has been the one to try to adjust. James has been the one to try to adjust and be the fixing piece. It's just not working because you can't play all four of them at once.
100% agree, and that's why the problem is James Harden, because you brought him in, and now there's a massive fucking
But
problem.
James is an upgrade over what they had. It makes sense. It makes sense to put Russ on the bench. It makes sense to put Russ on the bench. It's just a fuck you to Russ. But it makes sense.
Okay, but let's look at this actually logically, right? James was an upgrade over Russell Westbrook, okay?
Yes.
Because that's what we're talking about, right? Honestly, pick your poison. I think Russ fits the system of the Clippers much better than a James Harden. But I'm not going to say Russ is a better player than James Harden. I'm not going to say that right now, okay? But I think he's a better fit, and that's really what it comes down to, is fit when we're talking about non-superstars and stuff like
that. This is not even me saying Russ is playing bad in the same. He's playing fantastic. He's playing
I know.
Great.
Okay, but now
James would be better.
Yes, but now let's get to the meat of the matter. Is it just makes all the sense to you that Russ will move to the bench? No, it doesn't, because we've seen this story before with Darvin Ham on the Lakers. He will not accept it. Neither will James Harden. So again, we come to this conclusion where we're banging our heads against the goddamn table because we fucked up and we went star hunting and said, crap, if one of our guys goes down, we need a name value guy to be able to hopefully step up for that role. Not realizing that actually this team works a lot better when all four of them aren't playing. Name another team like that when their four quote-unquote best players are better when they don't play all together. That's wild. That was again, we keep going back to the loop. It's a loop. It's a loop.
The Heat are like that. The Heat are like that.
It's a loop. Look,
no, the Heat are like that. The four best players. The four best players in the Heat, you don't want all of them on the court at the same time. You don't want Tyler Duncan on the court at the same time.
Hold on. We start here with James Harden. We want James Harden. Now we're coming back to it. James Harden's got to go. James Harden's got to go. James Harden's got to go. Like, this is where we're going. James Harden, let's get James Harden. James Harden's got to go now because
this isn't a James Harden's got to go situation.
So then how do you fix the problem when Russell Westbrook won't accept a bench role, James Harden won't accept a bench role, and you got no more assets to make any more trades? How do you fix the problem, Romaine? Go ahead. Somebody help me out.
You start the better guy. Doesn't matter what the fuck you want to accept. You start the better guy.
Okay, so now you're going to be like the Los Angeles Lakers, where you're going to be below average team, and you're probably
no, you're not, because either way, Russ was you're not, because you benching Russ. Russ was still the third best player on that team. You still have three scores that fit well. And the second problem with Lakers is the fact they had zero shooting around fucking LeBron.
Romaine.
Russell Westbrook and LeBron, you had zero shooting around them. So of course their offense freaking sucked. This is not the same situation.
You're missing a key point. It's not from that point of view. From the point of view of up here. If I have Russell Westbrook where I say he's not, you know this, everybody knows this. If a teammate is out of it and doesn't give you effort and doesn't want to play, now he becomes a quote unquote cancer to that locker room. Now what do we do? That's what I'm talking about. Well, it will not work. You put Russ to the bench, he does not accept that role. You say, fuck what he accepts, I don't care. Well, guess what? Now you got a problem in your locker room. Now you got a problem in your locker room. So now you got to get rid of Russ.
I just need to verify something. I just need to verify something real fast before I say something. Mm-hmm. I'm just give me a second. Give me a second. Because I'm pretty sure this is the larger problem of there it fucking is. Part of the reason why you couldn't bench Russ in LA is the fact that he was making $46 million. That's a large part of your salary cap that's not playing on the freaking court. Russ right now is playing for $3 million. He does not have a say in I don't want this role specific. He told PG specifically, I'm here for whatever you need me for. I don't even know where this logic came from. He was bad off the bench in LA. Yes, he was not bad in the second half of that season off the bench. Yes, when the next season, when they were 2-10 and they were still climbing with him coming off the bench. He was playing well off the bench. They just played better when they made the trade, but they were still climbing up the rank, and he was still playing better. He accepted the bench role on the Lakers. He would. Oh my god.
He didn't accept it. He He said openly that all this feels very weird to him, that he doesn't like it. He spoke about it. Of course,
you've been starting for 14 years.
Okay, so now he comes to the Clippers. Now he's got a role. Like you said, we re-signed him for him to have another bigger role. Now we bring in James Harden. Apparently, Russ was told about this beforehand, so they didn't just screw it up. You're saying the $40 million was the biggest. No, it wasn't. Russell Westbrook is the same person, him making $40 million or $5 million. That mentality is not going to change. He has not reached that point of a Chris Paul where he has accepted that role of taking the bench role. He is still in that role of the Carmelo Anthony, where I am still that guy, and I don't believe this person is better than me.
Chris Paul didn't need to accept that role because he was still the best freaking point guard on his damn team.
No, Russ this role right now. This role right now in the Golden State Warriors, that role he's accepted as a bench player.
Yes, he's accepted that role because that's how good he is now. You're playing behind Klay Thompson and Steph freaking Curry. Of course, you're not freaking starting.
No, you're not seeing.
Yes, that's just the logic of the. That's just the logic. Yes, I am. That's just the logic of the situation here. You can't accept. You can't sit here and say I'm not going to accept the bench role when you're playing the Klay Thompson and Stephen freaking Curry and the team that just won 5 chips. Is the one telling you that you need to sit back.
So Russell Westbrook's going to accept the bench role for PJ Tucker?
Yes!
You think Russell Westbrook thinks PJ Tucker's a better player than him right now?
It doesn't fucking matter!
That's all that matters right now because Russell Westbrook, while he is a team player, is not going to accept. I don't understand how this is a crazy statement. That
you want them to cater to Russ's feelings so bad.
No, I don't.
Right about You wanted them to cater to Russ's feelings so bad so you can be right about James Harden when you're just wrong about one man here.
No.
It's very real to see what
that is not at all the situation right now. I'm speaking strictly from a factual standpoint of all these guys. James Harden's not going to accept the bench role. Russell Westbrook's not going to accept the bench role. So now you're stuck with that starting 4, and it's just not going to work. It's not going to work at the end of the day. You can keep banging your head, and that's just it's not going to work.
Yes, the starting 4 doesn't work. And there's one stupidly crazy logical solutions to this. Hey, yo, bench the worst playmaker, the guy that can't shoot, and the guy that will probably be least valuable off the ball. Yeah, but
Again, but
put
I
him on the bench.
don't.
He can have his own. Like he can have his own unit.
Wait. Again, I agreed with you when you first made that point about 10 minutes ago. I said 100% that is a factual statement. That is the way to go. Is one of them's got to accept a bench role, right?
Not one of them, Russ.
Okay,
not
fine,
whatever.
You started it off with one of them, but now you've moved it, which is fine. We can move on to just Russ. Okay, I agree with you that, but for me, it's one of them has to accept the bench role. Like it's between one of them two, right? Again, it comes back to the point. Neither of them are going to. So
where did you? I don't know where this logic came from that Russ won't accept the bench role. This is crazy.
Because he didn't last time. Why would he do it this time? And if you bring $40 million,
what? Okay, I feel like we're not gonna ever see equal ground on here right now. I'm just
we're not. Because you're not hearing me. Well, no, you're hearing me.
I'm hearing you. You're just wrong. You're just wrong.
I'm not wrong. We're in agreement that this team is not going to fix itself, but. So do you think
there's a way to fix itself? There's a way to fix itself.
Let me ask you a question, right?
Yes.
Russ goes to the bench. He accepts his bench role. Where do the Los Angeles Clippers finish?
If James is starting, they're still. Oh no.
Where do they finish?
And the West hasn't been too crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I still think they could be top 5.
Mm-hmm. So you think that they finish top 5 if Russ accepts the bench role?
Yeah.
All right.
I wouldn't be surprised if they finished worse simply because even that fixes the offensive issues and that helps some of the defensive ones. You still don't have a backup big. So
should go sign DeMarcus Cousins.
Saying 5, hell fucking no. They're finished like 6. I wouldn't be surprised.
They fucked up. Let me just put this straight out. Let me just put this straight out.
They fucked up because they traded the wrong guys. You shouldn't have traded all the wings.
Yeah,
one or two of them, and then making both Highlands be the piece. Then yes, that would have been fine. But all of them is kind of crazy.
This is what I'm saying, right? The Los Angeles Clippers messed up mightily. They traded for James Harden when there wasn't a need to trade for James Harden. Sure, is he an upgrade over Westbrook?
No, there was a need.
Hold on. Sure. Was James Harden an upgrade over Russell Westbrook? Sure, I'll give you that. There still was no need. There wasn't a need there. You had the defensive wings. You had the guys to play defense and be a veteran presence and to knock down three-point shots. You had the two guys in PG and Kawhi, and you had Russ to give you everything he had, and he wants to be in LA.
They didn't have
this year. PG.
Oh,
Kawhi and PG. Okay, you didn't need James Harden. Now you brought him in. Now you got PJ too as well. The team doesn't work. I don't care if Russ goes to the bench. All right, this team's not going to work. Kawhi Leonard is good. And guess what? You fucked up too because Kawhi Leonard and I believe Paul George are both free agents, so they have player options. A PG might stay. Kawhi is probably going to be on his way out. There was already either it was a report or the camera caught him being very frustrated during a timeout in the last game against the Grizzlies and having to basically take a minute or a couple of minutes to cool himself down because I can imagine this. Kawhi Leonard is not happy. Kawhi Leonard is not happy how this is working out right now at all. And I do not blame him because he is the best player on that team. And last seen healthy, that man was taking that Phoenix Suns team that everybody was riding on and was going to beat them single-handedly basically by himself with Russell Westbrook as his second best player.
You saw him for a game. You saw him play them for a game.
Two games.
And a half.
No, 2 games. Nope. 2 full games, and he didn't show up for game 3. 2 full games where he absolutely balled out. Go check the numbers, Romaine. All right. Next up, we've got to talk about, I guess this is a topic that Romaine wanted to talk about. I know this was one of his agendas. The Minnesota Timberwolves are contenders. But Romaine wrote a note here, so we're going to ask him very, very clearly. Romaine, do you believe the Minnesota Timberwolves, let me put it this way. Romaine, do you believe the only way the Minnesota Timberwolves become true contenders is by trading their second best player and Karl Anthony Towns away?
I don't know about second best player, but look, I understand why Minnesota fans are mad that people keep talking about this strictly because they've been in the dark ages for so long. And this is the first time you've seen some light. And then you're already telling them they need to trade one of their core guys so they can be really legit when they feel like they're legit right now, which is cool. Cat gotta go. Like, I'm sorry, bro. I understand it, bro. I get it. The team is great. Naz Reid fits so much better in that starting lineup. And even if you want to keep Naz Reid off the bench, what you can get, I don't even. Part of me is like, yeah, Cat needs to go, but at the same time, I can't think of a trade that would give them the crazy upgrade that they needed, where they wouldn't be taking back lesser value, if you get what I mean. Like majority, like you trade Cat and you get back like I don't know OG Anunoby. I think that fits better. I think that's a defensive wing that somebody can guard on the perimeter and guard bigger guys. That's somebody that can hit that's somebody that can hit an open three at a pretty good clip that can create some of his own offense too. And then, but he won't be getting all of Cat's touches. So majority of Cat's touches would now go back to Anthony Edwards and maybe Jaden McDaniels. And he's shown that given the opportunity, he can be a pretty capable scorer. But Cat and OG Anunoby are not on the same level of players. So you're in the Timberwolves case, you're doing another trade where you kind of are trading for a lesser player, but it just fits better. And I don't feel like that's a good thing for them either. So no, Cat doesn't have to go. I say you have. How old is Gobert?
Give me a second. Rudy Gobert is 31 years of age.
Oh.
Turns 32.
I say give it mid-season before you do any damn thing. And if they Mid-season is like 50-something games, right? Like 51 games or so.
Mm-hmm.
If they've won over 32 games by then, shut the fuck up about Cat. Leave it alone.
Mm.
If they're somewhere like in the 30 and 20 range, or like the 29 and 20, like something like that, or 29 and 22 range type thing, where a bad slide could put you in like 500 range and pay me maybe down closer to the plane than you'd like to be, then yes, I would say entertain it. But if you're comfortably within like the top 5, top 4, shut up.
Okay. Well, I will say this, and quickly, I mean,
because they're not. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're not winning a chip this year. I don't know why. Like, they're really not going to win a chip this year.
No,
I get it. So I think you deserve another year of experiment, especially since Cat was out for so long last year.
Yeah.
Like,
I do want to say
yes,
this though.
Yes, he may not be playing up to standard, but he's also the guy with the least continuity on the team.
Yeah,
right now,
I mean,
so.
we're like 9 games into the season. All right. And first off, Carl Anthony Towns is clearly second best player on this team. I'm not going to hear Rudy Gobert when he can't give you god fucking shit offensively. I don't want to hear it. All right. But what I will say about this is the T-Wolves and getting rid of Cat to be true contenders. I don't see that, because for that to be the case, you have to get back somebody with equal or better value than Cat. And like you said,
if they can package Cat and if they didn't trade away every single freaking pick they ever had, and if they had like 1 or 2 of them still, and they package Cat and 2 first-round picks, and you send that off to Utah for Lauri Markkanen, yeah, that moves me crazy.
That literally made it go back inside my body. That move.
Do you know how good Lauri Markkanen is?
He's a pretty good NBA player. That's about it.
Oh my god.
That's about it.
Wait, wasn't he all NBA last year? Hold on.
I really could give a fuck less if he was all NBA last year, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Then what? That's just bias then.
That's not biased. That's not biased.
Yeah, he was just an all-star. He was behind Julius Randle. Julius Randle was the third guy, and he was behind him.
Let me give you a round of applause for the fucking all-star trip. I mean, bravo.
I want you to.
He was on. Go ahead.
He was putting up 26, 8, and 2, playing really good defense on 50, 39, 87 splits. This year he's shooting 49, 45 splits. You're clapping and shit, but he's real.
I'm giving him real is real questionable right there, is what I'm going to say, because of this exact reason. He's on the fucking Utah Jazz. All right.
Wow.
Whoa. You're going to sit here and say that we have not seen numerous times players play great ball in a shitty situation with no eyeballs. Then they get to the big stages and they choke. We're going to sit here and say that?
Okay. Brandon, you know what the difference is? You know what the difference
What's
is
the
here?
difference?
There's a clear talent showing up players whenever they're in shitty situations. You can Zach LaVine right now is in a tier where he is at most can be a 4th best player on a championship team, or like a role player at best. Yes, he can put up numbers when he's the best player on the court, but you cannot win that way. Lauri Markkanen isn't like that, because you see the clear talent. The Utah Jazz just don't have a good freaking team, but Lauri Markkanen is really good at
Lauri Markkanen. Best player on a contender.
Yes.
You need to be drug tested. That's it. I mean, I've seen him for how many years?
On a contender, yes. I'm not saying they're gonna win the whole chip, no, but on a contender, yes.
7 seasons. I've seen him 7 seasons. All right, I've seen him 7 seasons. Lauri Markkanen is not that guy.
Lauri Markkanen has been under Lauri Markkanen had to suffer under Jim Boylen. That literally just told him, "Hey, yo, sit in the corner." You didn't even see any of the things he's displaying in Utah, because they've told him to sit in the corner his entire freaking career. In the moment he can actually show what he can do, he's a 26 point per game scorer, one of the best shooting bigs the game's ever freaking seen, and he's a plus. He's shooting 45% on 3 on 8 attempts per game. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. Last year, he was shooting 40% on 8 attempts per game.
Yeah,
He's 1,000% one of the best shooting bigs we've seen.
Can I interest you in a 37% career?
What?
That's what he is from 3-point land for his career is 37%.
Okay. On 6.5 attempts per game.
Yeah.
Who do you think are the greatest shooting big men in the world, and what they were shooting?
I think there are just a lot. I mean, you just saying he's one of the greatest shooting big men of all time is just, to me, is just a little bit early right now. I'm not saying he can't get there because of his talent. I'm not saying he's not a very good 3-point shooter.
You trading Cat for you trading
Cat. There you go right there. Cat's a very good 3-point shooter. No, it doesn't do nothing for me. It does.
No, I'm saying let me explain. I'm saying let me explain. You trade Cat for Rudy Gobert, you get the same level. You get the same level of shooting behind the arc. There's no real drop off between either of them, and sometimes you get more versatility with Lauri Markkanen sometimes anyway too. Not only that, but you actually get a switchable defender and somebody that can actually go switch onto the perimeter on perimeter guys and actually use his length. Not only that, but you also gain a lot more touches because I'm pretty sure Lauri is more efficient than Cat. He does what he does on less touches. So again, you put the ball in Ant's hands a little more. And plus, now you don't have to have those awkward possessions where Cat and Gobert is in the game at the same time, but Cat wants to be on the low block, so he's down there, and then his only plays is an alley-oop to Gobert or some bullshit. You're not gonna really get that because Lauri can do what he can do without going to the post, even though he's really good down there too. Like the pluses for having Lauri over Cat on this team is there, and it's basically because of skill set. You can think Cat's the better player, but Lauri just fits better, and he's not that far behind Cat when it comes to talent.
Again, I'm not trying to disrespect Lauri Markkanen. I'm just trying to temper No. I'm trying to temper the conversations you're putting him in. Okay, he's a very good NBA player. He is an all-star caliber player, but that is it. That's the cap right there. That's it. He is not a star. He will never reach superstardom. Nothing like that. Okay. Got Ant. I believe in Ant. Ant will be a superstar one day. True. But you trading Cat for Lauri, like I said, it doesn't just not move me. It goes back inside. So that's all I've got to say about that. Next up, rookie of the year.
It's only between three people. It's only between three people for me.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I feel like it's just one guy.
It's between three.
You really think that you think? I mean, Chet, obviously, right? Who's the other guy? Wemby, obviously. Wemby and Chet. Who's the third guy?
Asar, his rookie year could be all defense. Like, let's not act like what that man, young man, ain't doing is insane shit.
My whole point with that would be, I mean, they're fun conversations to be had, but I feel like we all know that Wemby is going to get this award.
Yes, but the counter arguments already for when Chet and Wemby is already coming out. People are like, "Oh, Vic is getting too much push. Chet is doing it on better efficiency." So people are obviously entertaining the conversation, and for me specifically, yes, the efficiency and what he's doing it on. Yes, he's producing the same amount of offense as Vic and doing it on better efficiency. Yeah, it's Chet, but again, Chet is also was drafted last year into way fucking better team. Way fucking better team. Way better playmakers.
Yeah.
Way better play. I'm seeing Wemby sometimes open in the paint, don't even look to pass the ball. There's so many opportunities that just completely missed. Like, genuinely, it's frustrating sometimes watching the San Antonio Spurs because you're just watching them miss him constantly. And I think part of the reason why he's shooting 44% from the field for a guy that's strictly perimeter is pretty good in your rookie year is because he has to be strictly on the perimeter a lot. Like,
yeah. Can I offer this one thing to you though? because a lot of people, I don't know what the arguments were back then because I was only 6 years old when this happened, but I know hindsight, a lot of people talk about it now that Carmelo Anthony deserved to win Rookie of the Year over LeBron James. So that's what I'm saying is even if Chet does
I think
outplay
that
him,
too.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Even if Chet does end up outplaying him, and OKC obviously is going to have a better record than the Spurs, Wemby, because of the hype, because of just the stature, they're not going to not give it to him,
that
unless he falls on his face.
The difference is social media. We've seen how fans have swing votes before. We saw how it went, like how it was who Robert Williams was supposed to win Defensive Player of the Year. The moment he went down, fan outcry. Oh, Boston Celtics, yada yada. Marcus Smart somehow freaking won that shit. Like we see how this shit consistently goes, and I do think right now people are already doing the pushback on. We saw how it did with the MVP last year.
Yeah, but
Jokic was clearly the MVP. Yeah, Jokic was clearly the MVP, and people found a way to with Kendrick Perkins doing some bullshit. People found a way to finagle one out of his hands and give it right to Joel Embiid. Like we've seen how this story goes before.
Yeah. Like, but again, it's not. I just don't think. And listen, the people are going to talk, right? But at the end of the day, the media controls who gets this award, and the media is they're gonna stick with one.
I think one thing, they're playing head to head tonight, which is why I wanted to talk about it. But they're playing head to. I think the things that are gonna make it are the head to head performances, because
those do matter. Those do matter a lot.
LeBron and Carmelo. I don't know how many because LeBron and Carmelo only played twice. Because they're in opposite. They're gonna play 4 times. And so I'm pretty sure these games that the performances against each other are going to freaking matter. Like, and right now, if Chet is because if they're going to consistently put up the numbers they are, because I don't think y'all thinking Chet's going to keep up 53 shooting is crazy. Well, I'm expecting maybe 48, 30, and then taper down to like 36, 30. If he really is a 40% shooter year 1 or year 2, but first year is crazy like that. But I'm expecting like 38, 37, 48 splits. And I'm expecting the points per game from 17 to go to like 15. But if he keeps up 17 points per game on that type of efficiency, like the 48, 37 splits, and he's giving... And Vic is doing what he's doing with the potato of a team he has too. Outside of like a couple... There's so many things wrong with that Spurs team that you talk about, whatever. And Vic's doing what he's doing.
They got the number 1 pick for a reason last year.
Yeah, and if Vic is doing what he's doing, I'm not gonna lie, I can understandably see them giving it to Vic and agree with it. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, they're gonna. So these are the head-to-head matchups between Wemby and Chet. If they end up playing all 4,
especially if Vic outplays him for majority of these matchups, hell yes, it's him.
So they've got 4. They got 4 matchups. They've got tonight. They've got their second game is going to be January 24th. Is the next time they're going to meet. That one's going to be in San Antonio. Tonight is in Oklahoma City. Then they're going to be back in San Antonio again for their third game, February 29th. Look at that leap year, motherfucker. And then their final game is going to be back in Oklahoma City on April the 10th. So spread out pretty well.
Watch that be a game that helps decide which of them is like in the plane, or if they
that easily could end up being it right at the end of the season, 4-10.
Those last couple of games, those playing games are gonna matter for that award.
100%.
And I said it's a 3-man race because Asar has been great. It's just those two are just weird. So, but like Asar has been absolutely. He's Andre Kirilenko on crack. Like he gained any type of perimeter shooting, and it's over. A 6'7" guy that can rebound to that level, shoot, handle the ball, play make, and defend the way he does with the athleticism he has, it's absolutely nuts. And it burns me in my, because Amen is the better playmaker. And it burns me in my soul. Even though Houston's playing really well, they really are.
Okay,
but that Amen is really not getting minutes over there. It really hurts.
All right, so we're gonna get into a discussion real quick that apparently Romaine has a lot to say about superstars.
I don't have too much to say about it.
I mean, you said that you wanted to get into Bam.
I love that guy so much. But
topic.
There's been a couple of guys this year that's really looking to take the leap into superstardom. And a couple guys looking that they're trying to play their way out of it. But right now the guys that are on the radar right now is Bam Adebayo, which on the Heat's 5-game winning streak, he's averaging 24, 13, 5 assists, 1.5 steals, 1.5 blocks on 54% shooting and 80% from the line, and he's having career high free throw line. And his year numbers on the year aren't even that much different. He's averaging 23 and 10. So it's one more point, again, like two less rebounds, but that's because he's just been going crazy lately. He's really his mid range. He's shooting 47% from the mid range. He's gotten a lot more efficient in the post. But he goes to the fade a little too much. I'd love to see him throwing a little counters in there. That would make him really hard to handle down there. So offensively, he's already taken the big. We already know what he is as a playmaker. And he's really like made it an issue to really force his way to the line. So he's having a career high in free throws, and he's hitting them at the 80% clip. But the place where he somehow found a way to get better defensively. I don't know how he did it, but was a guy that was arguably the best defender on the planet, one of the best defenders in the game, best defender of the game, if you don't want to say the best one, at top 3, found a way to get better. Players are averaging 0.19 points per possession in isolation. Out of the 26 isolation possessions Bam has guarded this season, and keep in mind, he played Wemby, he played Jaren Jackson Jr., he played. We didn't play the Bucks, but he played in the Boston game. Did he play against the Timberwolves? I think he played against the Timberwolves. Yeah, I think he only missed the Milwaukee game this year. He's played first things first. We started out 1-4. We had 3 games and 4 nights, and that was Boston, Milwaukee, and Minnesota. The league hates us. Like, that's crazy. So that's why we started out 1-4. But we've been beating up on the teams we're supposed to beat so far. And out of the 26 possessions, players only scored 3 times. 3 times. 26 attempts and only scored 3 times. This year, he's had the best rim return. Teams are averaging, I think, 5 less percent shots at the rim with him on the court, which isn't in the upper echelons like the Rudy Goberts and the Joel Embiid's that's over like 10%. But he's also the only guy that's lowering at the rim, frequency at the rim and from the 3-point line at the same time. Spo played him a lot more in the drop, so he's having career high in blocks, which is great because that gives him the numbers on the screen so people can actually respect them. But he found a way to get better defensively, and his offense is just growing year by year. And he's entering. There's no bit like I'm ready to have that conversation between him and AD. I don't care. I'm ready to have that conversation. Unless you're named Jokic or Embiid, I'll take that. I'm taking Bam.
Listen, it's Jokic and Embiid, and then, I still think AD is better than Bam right now. Bam's only thing is that he has teased us a lot over the past couple of years, where we keep thinking that mid range is going to get consistent.
It was consistent. He was consistent last year. He just, for some reason, the second half of the year just start taking less shots. Like, not even just mid rangers, just less shots overall.
Yeah, I just that's all I'm saying is that mid range shot of consistently being able to knock it down, especially in the playoffs.
Part of it, I think, is also injury and the guys that were in and out of the lineup last year. Like, Gabe was the starting point guard, then Gabe got hurt. Kyle comes back in. Tyler's hurt for some time. Tyler comes back. The ball handlers were rotating a lot for him, and he wasn't. And I think that's the reason why Bam is on the court majority of the time. Like, he rarely gets hurt. So Spo is just like, okay, Bam, you're the hub. You're handling all the playmaking duty. Like, you're handling majority of the playmaking here. And so far this year, he's done wonders with it. Like, when Tyler's in, he's the main ball handler, but Bam is handling a lot of the playmaking as a hub at the nail and just top of the key and all the double handoffs.
So so the superstar discussion is a very interesting one. I've had it very many times, right? I don't think that there's many superstars in this league. I think there's about maybe 8, 9 max if we want to talk about it. I think superstardom is a very elite class of players. I think it's not only do you have to have the play,
I say 12 to 13. There's just some guys
way too much. That's way too much.
I just think there's just some guys that are just too good for you to keep them out of that conversation.
You have to, because it comes down to not only
you don't
their
really
play,
have to.
but also wait, listen. It not only comes down to their play. Superstar status is not only down to their play and accomplishments and accolades. It's also down to that name value. And if you don't have that elite level name value, then you can't be in that superstar status. You also have to be a proven commodity player. So that's where superstar status is a very elite company, a class to me, where I think 12 to 13 is way too much. I definitely don't think that.
Let's do a checkoff right now.
All right, so we got Jokic,
Luka, Steph, Embiid, right?
Giannis,
Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum.
What? Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm not even having this conversation anymore. Jason Tatum's over there. Okay, we're good.
Jason Tatum's not a superstar. The reason why Jason Tatum's not a superstar is because we keep trying to get the like I said last year about Jason Tatum. The chair is there. The reservation is already had. It's there. We're trying to give it to him, and he keeps fumbling the bag to get there. So you can
he grabbed it pretty handily.
He hasn't.
If you can be the best player on a team that made it to the NBA Finals, you're a superstar. I'm sorry.
I disagree. I think that there's just a step that he has not gotten to yet, where he needs to take that next step. And
what's the next step for
maybe
a guy
that
like
is next step is winning the championship.
Joel Embiid is a guy that needs to take that next step too, but he's also considered
Joel Embiid's an MVP. Joel Embiid's an MVP.
Tatum was in that conversation.
It's not a conversation. He's got the award. I don't care about a conversation.
He shouldn't have gotten the award.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at the end of the day.
That's crazy.
It's not crazy. In the legacy book, it's not going to be little asterisks next to Joel Embiid MVP award. Oh, he shouldn't have had it because Romaine Davis says he shouldn't have had it. It doesn't matter what majority of people say he shouldn't have had it. He got voted.
But this is the same thing we even do with Karl Malone's MVP. We all say Jordan should have had it. We all say it. Everyone says Jordan should have had it.
Okay, we could say he should have, but again, it doesn't matter at the end of the day because he doesn't have it. Like we can have those. He should have had this. He should have. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. You didn't.
Well, yeah, I don't mind that Jokic. No, I'm just saying I don't mind that Jokic has it because he has two other ones, and people don't care about MJ not have because he has freaking he has 4 others. He has 5. Okay, cool. You didn't get an extra one. Boo hoo.
No, all I'm saying
he should have had 6. Jokic should have 3. Mm-hmm. Right now, Tatum, Joel Embiid, Luka are all guys in that conversation. Tatum is very much in that conversation.
Honestly,
Tatum is better than KD right now.
Hold on. I think there's a conversation. Again, Romaine, you're missing the point. It's not just about who is better. You have to have that name value behind you. Again, a conversation. Hold on. It's not semantics. This is what superstar has always been. Superstardom is not just your play on the court. It is also that name value you bring around with you. That is where you reach that superstar status. Now, let me get this point. You can also have an argument that Joel Embiid is not in that superstar status because we can have that. He's got the MVP, but before he had the MVP, what was he? He hadn't got out the second round. So again, we hadn't got out the second round is what I'm saying, right? So you can have that conversation where he hasn't made it out of as well.
Oh, no, he made the conference finals a couple years ago, yeah.
Again, I just think that we can't elevate these guys yet until they truly have proven themselves to be that superstar. Like again,
right, give me a second.
Go ahead. I'll keep talking. Superstar to me is just it's a different level than the other people, and we can say like fringe stars, like a star plus player, where we don't want to like disrespect like a Jason Tatum and just call him a star, right? Or we don't want to disrespect a Joel Embiid and call him just a star, right? Or a Damian Lillard or a Devin Booker, right? But there's got to be we can't just keep extending that list out for longer to superstardom. Is just 13 players to me is just way too much for superstar status. It's kind of where I also look at. It's kind of also where I look at elite quarterbacks, right? Like elite quarterbacks are also like a different category too. But that also, so that's where elite and superstardom is also for me a category as well. But the way I look at it, where it's an elite company, using the word sound redundant there, Brandon, but it's a company where we shouldn't just and I'm not trying to disrespect, but we're just lumping people in there. These are great players, right? Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, they're all great players. Damian Lillard, Devin Booker, but we can't just vault them in there when we all know also that the name value, like a Devin Booker name value, is not on a Kevin Durant name value. Like that's just factual statement, right? So that's where it also comes in is name value.
That's just media bias. At the end of the day, when
that's not media bias. That's not media bias.
When the
we can look at it, we got tangible numbers. We have social media. We have tangible numbers.
Okay, but then that's just saying that the name value. But the reason Kevin Durant's name value is that high is because he's better than Devin Booker, right?
Who?
No, I'm saying the reason why Kevin Durant's name value is that high because he's better than a Damian Lillard. He's better than a Devin Booker. That's why his name value is that high. He's just that good. But at this current moment, you consider KD a superstar, but Jason Tatum, in a lot of people's opinion, is better than Kevin Durant right now.
You want to know why? You want to know why also Kevin Durant? Because Kevin Durant, and this goes back to like a pro wrestling rule where it's like everybody needs the rub from somebody. So KD got the rub from Steph Curry and LeBron. Steph got it from LeBron, obviously. LeBron got it from from Dwayne Wade and other people like that. So like that's why they've elevated to the superstar status that they have. Devin Booker hasn't won anything yet. He hasn't proven himself. Like Giannis broke through and got that championship. So it's all about breaking through and beating name value people to elevate yourself and your own cachet as well. Because when you just beat a regular old team, like it doesn't really, it's not changing anything for folks. But when you start elevating in the playoffs and be consistent in the playoffs, and you're consistently showing up in those clutch ass moments, and you win a championship and stuff like that, you got the accolades and all of that.
Okay, so do you think you need to win a championship to be a superstar?
I don't think so.
Then why is Luke? Oh, okay. Then if you don't have to do that, but you've shown repeatedly that you can get to that biggest stage. You've had all those clutch moments. You've done all those things again, like Jason. I don't like the Celtics. I don't like this, but you're making me defend him right now because that's just kind of crazy to not have him in that situation.
I know it is, right? Because he's played at an elite level. Like I'm not just like he's a great player in the NBA, right? But for me, it's like, and I think actually a lot of people would agree, obviously outside of the Massachusetts area, the New England area, that Jason, we've been trying to give Jason Tatum that status, but for some reason he keeps coming up short. I don't know. Maybe it is for certain players they need a championship to validate themselves in that way. And other players, they don't really need it where they can just be that dude. But here's a conversation that I want to have, Romaine, that I'm sorry I was kind of a little preoccupied a little bit at certain points because I'm getting text from my boy right now that and Zach LaVine's in the news. Zach LaVine to Miami, and I'm telling him he's not a needle mover. I don't really need him. I don't want him. I don't really need him that much. And I don't believe the gap between Zach LaVine and Tyler Hero is that massive. So, and I'm having the conversation right now. Right now, he's texting me crazy right now. But I simply said, and I could read it off to you, right? I'll actually read this off to you. So I'm having a good conversation back and forth with my boy Aiden right now. Shout out Aiden. He texts me that of the obvious news that Zach LaVine is possibly going to be on the trading block. And he says he probably goes to the 76ers, but he is probably the best spot for him. And I said, I'm good on him. He's not a needle mover. Let him go to Philly. He says, laugh my ass off. We literally need a guy to give us 20, 24 points a game with Hero being down and not ready to go most nights. If he goes to Philly, we lose in 5. I said, we don't. Hero is the guy we move forward with. He says he's not a superstar, let alone an all-star, which I think is absolutely ludicrous. Tyler Hero is 1,000% an all-star caliber player. I didn't say, and I texted back, I'm not saying he's a superstar because he's not, He's definitely an all-star, but Zach LaVine doesn't move nothing for me. And we go back and forth. He says, I take LaVine right now over Hero, but in 5 years, maybe I take Hero. I said, yeah, LaVine is not much better than Hero is right now. I don't know if you're trying to talk to me, Romaine. You're muted on the stream right now.
I was saying it doesn't matter if you take Hero, and if Zach LaVine isn't fixing much here. Like even if you trade Tyler Hero for him, you're getting a lesser playmaker, a slightly better scorer, and a worse defender. I don't get out of my face with this shit, bro. People want to see people want to see a big name here so bad.
That's what I'm saying. They're looking at the name value thing that we've already missed on the name value. Damian Lillard was our last shot. That was the guy. We didn't get him. Now why I say we move forward with Hero is because this is the team we've got. And we're going to move forward with this team, and we're going to do the best that we possibly can with this current team. Okay? Until you pop out another big-time name like a Damian Lillard, I don't want to hear a Zach LaVine, who is arguably not even a top 30 player in the NBA right now. Okay? I don't want to hear a Bradley Beal. I don't want to hear those type of player names.
If the Heat are making trades, it's going to be specifically for people that are significantly better than what they already have. And Zach LaVine is not that much of an upgrade over Tyler, or even upgrade at all, in some people's opinion, to warrant that.
And I said this was what's crazy, right?
Huh?
To you, who is your top 3 shooting guards in the league right now, Romaine?
Shooting guards?
Yeah.
Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell,
PG,
Jaylen Brown.
You'd put Jaylen over PG?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you put PG 4?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's another argument that I had with him was well, actually he's naming a bunch of point guards, which actually I'm not even going to read that because he's naming a bunch of point guards, which is just going to dilute the process of this conversation. To me, Paul George is the second best shooting guard right now in the league. I would take him over Donovan Mitchell. I'd take him over Jaylen Brown. I think D-Book is the best shooting guard in the league. But thank you for entertaining that conversation with me, Romaine. I don't know. It's just my boy Aiden's a little crazy. He wants Zach LaVine, but then again, there's another Heat fan that I'm friends with, Nick, who's begging for Zach LaVine also to come to the Miami. And I'm just like, bro, we got to stop this shit. Like, stop with the star hunting and the name hunting. We didn't get Dame. We got to give it up. We got to stop being those guys that are sucker honors, that are trying to reach for any nipple that they can reach for. And it's just not going to work. We got to stop doing that. All right. We're done. We got the team.
I personally believe in the front office that's made two NBA Finals, 3 conference.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I personally would rather just sit back and let them handle their freaking job.
Yeah.
I know everybody wants to see a big move so bad, but again, the Dame stuff was out of our control. We can't stop a GM from being a freaking dumbass. I'm so sorry. Malpractice. I'm so sorry that happened. Again, for Kevin Durant, I'm sorry that Phoenix had Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson available to trade, and we were going to give them Tyler Hero and thought that would have been a comparable return. I get it. I love Tyler too. I think he's a lot better than some people think he is, but he's not on that freaking level. So yes, I'm sorry that Danny Ainge hates Pat Riley, and to be honest, Cleveland package for Lauri Markkanen, who's again a better player than Tyler Hero, was just better for Donovan Mitchell. I'm so sorry teams had better packages and we just lost those wars, and it's not like we weren't willing to trade for him. I'm sorry that Bradley Beal that you were climbing for barely played 3 games this year, is already getting hurt. Yeah, and again, not that much better than freaking Tyler, especially with the leap Tyler took this year. So definitely not even better than Tyler anyway. And another guy that didn't want to give up his no trade clause, which is the Heat is not going to take on because he's making freaking way too much freaking money.
Way too much.
On a team that's already a top 10 in luxury tax in the league, you want them to be even further up there for Bradley freaking Beal. It's not going to happen. Y'all ignore the logical thing, the reason why this team doesn't make trades. And y'all just want to see a big name here. It's not going to happen if it doesn't make sense. I'm so sorry.
100%. No, you're 100% correct. I mean, listen, the only trade that we were really viable in to make was the Damian Lillard one. And again, it wasn't just him being Cronin being a dumbass. It was literal malpractice. He didn't want to do business with us. We can go down the reports since the deal was made of everybody saying that Cronin basically didn't call Miami back. Damian Lillard speaking that once the Miami news got leaked, that he felt internally, yeah, I'm not going to Miami. Cronin doesn't want to trade me. Like, we can go down the reports and not even reports, just straight from Damian Lillard's mouth of him saying, yeah, I don't think I'm going to Miami. Because Cronin didn't want to do business. Because I said from the beginning, I said, hold on. I'll let you go. I'll let you go. I'll let you go. I'll let you go, Romaine. One last thing. Because I said from the beginning, when you back a rich person into a corner, they do not like it. Because rich people do not like being told what to do. So when Damian Lillard came out and said, I want to go to Miami, that was Dame saying to a rich guy, I'm telling you what to do. Do it. He didn't like it, and he did everything in his power to send him not to the Miami Heat. He saved his ass by sending him to Milwaukee, a place that can be a contender. But that besides the point that you don't tell rich people what to do because they don't like it, and that's why he didn't do business with the Miami Heat. Go ahead, Romaine.
That's part of the reason. Also, is just like people just have this aversion of like they don't like doing business with guys like Pat Riley or Danny Ainge because it's always said that you just always lose those deals, and you're like adding to their repertoire of things like that, which is fine, I guess. But at the end of the day, even you can look at the package that Portland took, and look at how bad Ayton, look how bad Robert Williams got hurt, and then all you have is Brogdon there, and a old ass Boston pick and a 2020 something freaking Phoenix pick. Like, again, everything that you've gotten from this trade is not close. Anything you got is not close to anything you gotten from the Heat. Like, right now, Jaime Jaquez Jr. is playing better than Scoot Henderson, which is cool. You're looking at the potential, so not even. But again, like Tyler Hero, you would have gotten some. Tyler Hero would be the best player on your team right now. So,
yeah, I completely agree. So I just wanted to go on that little tangent there real quick, but that is going to wrap us all up for episode 141 of the Wise Guys podcast. If you stayed this long, thank you very much, and please give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new, and share the content, and comment along with us. Tell us what you thought about what we discussed today, from James Harden all the way to the Miami Heat, and where will Zach LaVine go? I truly believe Zach LaVine is probably going to end up in Philadelphia. If not that, possibly the Los Angeles Lakers. I did see a little rumors about Detroit. Don't mind that either. But yep, follow us on all our social media platforms. On my personal, on Romaine's personal, the Wise Guys stuff. Links are all in the description. Go subscribe to Romaine's channel, FLB. Links are in the description. And that is going to wrap us all up. I've been Brandon Capozziello. That was Romaine Davis, FLB. And we are Audi 3.